Welcome to Butcher Block Horror Podcast, where we exhume horror movies from the past and cut into what makes them so delectable. I'm Kane.
I am JD.
And I'm concerned, but also Joe.
And today, we're going to be throwing wreck onto the slab and carving up our favorite portions to force feed to you, our unwitting victims. If you enjoy the taste of these feasts of fright, then give us a like and subscribe, being sure to click the bell. Consider taking a look at our website, wegiveYouBrainworms.com. This will allow you to look at our other projects and give you a link to our Patreon, where you can donate to support the show. There's also a Discord community channel link. Feel free to drop by. There's usually somebody hanging out on Discord, and if stuff starts happening, you know, we respond.
And his name is Kane.
Probably a lot faster than we do to YouTube.
I'm all over the Instagrams.
You are.
If you come and visit me on the Instagrams, I will be there to greet you.
Yeah.
So we watched Wreck.
We did. It was good.
Which was like a palate cleanser for the giant pile of shit that Tombs of the Blind Dead was.
Let's not talk about Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's quickly move on. JD, let's just go right on it. Why don't you give us a synopsis overview?
Sure. I'll do that.
Well, fucking do it, nerd.
A reporter named Angela and her cameraman Pablo follow around a team of firefighters and police on an emergency call into a sketchy apartment building. The group quickly find themselves trapped in a chaotic deep shit situation.
Deep shit situation is just, that's my go-to thing from now on. I will refer to this as a deep shit situation.
It's a deep shit situation.
This whole podcast is a deep shit situation.
And they
No, it's not. Not the same, Joe. Not the same.
Find themselves locked inside this building, faced with a possible virus which turns its victims into monsters.
Monsters. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, good summary.
Yes, well, it also has a runtime of 78 minutes and a budget of $2 million, and it grossed $32.5 million at the box office.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a nice compact movie. It gets in, does what it needs to do, and gets out. Doesn't really waste a lot of time.
Yeah, and it doesn't like sleep on your couch for more than like 2 days.
It's a ninja assassin. It somersaults through a window and starts getting to business with a katana.
It doesn't drink your last Coca-Cola, but leave the empty box in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the mark of a good roommate.
It's true.
So yeah, it was released November of 2007 in Spain and in 2008 in the United States.
So it took a whole year to get here?
It did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That tends to happen with foreign films. There's some kind of process that has to happen before they get brought over.
Yeah.
Like all the T's need to be dotted and the I's crossed.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, are you all interested in hearing about the director?
Not really.
I am. I think he did a damn good job.
This movie was really good. Yeah, I'm just being a dick for no reason.
JD, tell us about the director.
Absolutely. So yeah, the director also had a partial writing credit, and that would be Jaime Balaguerro.
We apologize to our Spanish-speaking audience.
Yeah, we're going to mispronounce.
We will butcher these names.
Yeah, sadly, that's the truth. Jaime was born in Spain, November of 1968, grew up in Barcelona and attended the University of Barcelona, where he began work as a film journalist and hosted a radio show in the early 90s.
Oh, nice.
He made his film debut in 1999 with a movie called The Nameless, based off of the 1981 horror novel of Ramsey Campbell. The film made its way around, winning Balaguerro some acclaim and awards, including Best Film at the Fantasia Film Festival. Fantasia Film Festival.
You want to do it one more time? I love you.
Anyway, I love you too. 3 years later, Balaguerro released a film called Darkness in 2002, which was a supernatural horror film that was released in Spain. It was released in the US in 2004, and it was Balaguerro's first English language feature. He also directed a ghost story called Fragile in 2005. In 2007 came Wreck, and then Wreck 2 in 2009. Fear in 2010, Sleep Tight in 2011, Wreck 4 Apocalypse in 2014. Not sure what happened to Rec 3, but I'll get to that.
For the record, Darkness was a dope movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah?
Dope movie. Anna Paquin's it was a fun ass movie.
Well, we may have to add that to the old butcher block.
Very creeping dread kind of a movie where like it slowly builds up and then it's just fucking everything's bad.
I happen to favor Creeping Dread.
It's the name of my first band.
That should be the name of your last band. That's a fucking awesome name.
It wasn't. I've been saying that a lot lately. But yeah, so he did Darkness and then he did
a film called Inside in 2016, Muse in 2017, and then there is the co-director Paco Plaza, born February 1973 in Valencia, Spain. Best known for writing and co-directing Rec and Rec 2. He directed Rec 3 all by his lonesome.
Aww.
Rec 3 Genesis. Yeah.
That was a lonely experience, I bet.
Yeah, a little bit. He directed a horror film in 2017 called Veronica. Yeah, so I'm just a little side note on Rec. There is I know you guys hate remakes, but they're...
JD, don't you also hate remakes?
Oh, I loathe remakes of...
We don't need to talk about the U.S. remake about this. Let's just not even give it airtime.
Okay, so I won't say another word about Quarantine then.
God damn it!
Which came out in 2008, directed by John Eric Dowdle.
Who cares? Fuck that guy. Fuck that movie.
Well, yeah, now we have something to bitch about, so that's more fun that way.
I mean, this could have just been a positive episode about a thing we all enjoyed, but, whatever.
So yeah, that's the directors and two of the three writers.
And then what do we know about the producers of the film?
Balls.
We know balls about the producers of the film?
I know about producing balls. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
What?
Sorry, I don't have notes on the producers. Oh my god.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm pulling it up now.
Sorry, guys.
You're fine. Shit happens. Nobody's mad. Except for maybe Kane.
Nope, not mad. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so Julio Fernandez leads Filmax Entertainment, and it's one of the main audiovisual and independent holdings based in Spain.
Okay.
He was born in 1947 in Afonsagrada, Luga, Galicia, Spain. That's what it says. He moved to Catalonia at the end of the 60s. And since then, he resides in Barcelona, has become one of the most important producers in the country.
Hot damn.
But yeah, so he's like got a bunch of awards. Let's see. You really dropped the ball on this one, dickface.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julio Fernandez Rodriguez did a lot of things.
Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm just going to do a quick rundown of the horror movies that he's produced. Give me just a second. Anyone that's listening will know that I'm currently
doing my job.
I'm doing the genre picker in IMDb.
Oh man, I'm sure glad that somebody on the staff of this podcast realized that you could do that.
Yeah, he's got 35 horror credits. Oh God. So he produced Rec, right?
Yep.
And then he also produced Quarantine. I don't like you for that, buddy, but he also
kissed and shot.
Yeah. He produced Dagon from 2001.
Nice.
All the Rec movies, a movie called Faust, Beyond Reanimator.
Nice.
Which that makes up for it. Darkness, Fragile, The Returned, which was a pretty interesting movie. The Abandoned. Yeah, his list just keeps going. He is an incredibly influential producer, and we apologize that you were overlooked, sir. We apologize. I don't know what I mean. I listened to what JD says about producers, but does that sound good?
Yes, that sounds good.
Do we need anything else?
Oh, you were fierce. That was excellent.
Hey, Joe, why don't you tell us about the writer?
Why don't you get fucked?
Damn.
Oh, wait, no, I actually will do that.
You're fierce this afternoon as well.
So being friends with me requires you to become a certain type of person unless you were already that type of person to begin with. So it's always amazing to me when people like JD or Delaney decide to be friends with me because they're just genuinely good people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that's curious, Joe is a giant piece of shit, which is why he and I get along so well.
Although I feel like I was less of a piece of shit before we became good friends.
I mean, everybody says that.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met Kane, he struck me as...
Like physically? Like he just punched you in the head?
No, well... That was on the table, but he reminded me of the cartoon cat from the music video by Paula Abdul called Opposites Attract.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I just made that up.
Okay, I was going to say, because I don't understand that at all.
You'd have to watch the music video.
I have, many times. I was obsessed with Paula Abdul when I was a young lad.
I can kind of see Kane in that cat.
There's a few Kane attributes.
This has nothing to do with horror or anything. So, but this is still funny. So I had a Walkman and I had the tape that song is on. I had the album, and I was walking around a playground with it, just listening to it, having a good time. And I listened to it like all day to the point where I had memorized a bunch of the songs. And so I had memorized that song, right? My dad, a Baptist minister, I think he was in training, Baptist.
Wait,
he was
you
trying to
know
be a
all the
deacon.
lyrics to
Hold on,
Opposites
stop.
Attract?
Yes, but more importantly, I was singing it, right? But it was just me singing it. It wasn't a duet. It was just me. So my dad heard me sing the line, "I don't like cigarettes, I like to smoke," and immediately assumed that I was listening to drug addicts and took my Paula Abdul tape.
Damn.
I wasn't allowed to listen to it anymore.
Dumb.
Good thing he didn't catch you reciting the lyrics of Forever Your Girl. Then he would have got really upset.
He spent most of his life upset. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, Joe, why don't you tell us about the writers?
Yeah. I guess, if I have to.
Shut up. Just do it.
Yeah, as discussed, Jaume Balaguero and Paco Plaza, the directors of this film, also got credit for some screenwriting. Jesus Christ.
Words are hard.
It's because we're recording during the day. It's fucking everybody's rhythm up.
The words are a different shape than your mouth, and they're coming out all wrong. You know, they got sharp angles, and
we're just skipping entire sections of our homework that we're supposed to do for a movie. This is just a weird show.
Let me do this for you. As discussed, Jaume Balaguero and Paco Plaza, the directors of this film, were involved in the writing process. There was a third writer, Luiso Berdejo, who was not a director, so I actually had to learn who he was and what he did.
Oh no, Joe had to work.
I had to do some work, I know. He's a Spanish writer. He has a lot of credits. He was born in 1975 in San Sebastian, Spain, and his horror credits, because generally that's all Kane cares about, and he hits me with the pain stick if I mention anything else.
And that's all I care about.
Yeah, but you don't hit it with the pain stick.
No.
I don't. I don't hit anyone with pain sticks.
I've got it right here, Joe.
His horror credits include Rec and Rec 3, although for some reason he was not invited on for Rec 2. I don't know.
Or Rec 4 Apocalypse.
Or Rec 4 Apocalypse. Yeah, only 1 and 3 was he included. He was also involved in Quarantine 1 and 2, which I don't think I'm supposed to talk about. Kane, don't hit me. No!
Yeah!
Painless and The New Daughter he was a writer on. And he did a lot of other writing, but none of it was really horror.
So we don't care.
So we don't care. And I can tell you some stuff about the cinematographer if you want.
Well, I think this is when it backfired.
Yeah, see, I did your homework. Although... Do something.
Yeah, tell us about the cinematographer.
Yeah, because Pablo Rosso, the cinematographer, was the cameraman in the film, which was kind of a genius move because the camera work in this movie was really good. And I have a lot to say about it. But before I get to that, he's a pretty well-known Spanish cinematographer, born April 22nd, 1961 in Cordoba, Argentina. He's got a ton of credits in film and television going back to the early 90s. He's done work for Disney. He's done a lot of things. But again, Kane will hit me with the pain stick if I talk about anything that isn't horror-related. He did work on all 4 of the Rec films. He's continuing to this day working on the television show 30 Coins, which I've not seen, but looks really good, and I kind of want to check it out. After Party, Veronica, and Second Name. All horror movies that look pretty interesting.
They do.
The cinematography in this movie was really good. Like, you could tell that the cameraman knew how to hold and point a camera, which put this movie head and shoulders above a lot of found footage horror movies, where the camera work just makes the movie worse in a lot of ways.
It does tend to make the film really fucking annoying.
Right. So the fact that the cinematographer of the film was holding the camera made this movie so much better.
It really did. It was effective.
Yeah, I would argue this is probably the best found footage movie that I've seen.
I don't disagree.
Cannibal Holocaust was pretty dope just because it was the first of its kind for the most part. Blair Witch did it okay, but after those, I would put this right up there at the top.
Right.
Just the shots, like, it seems incidental during the movie, but the fact that he's tracking previously seen locations for you, but they're doing it in a way that isn't forced.
Right.
You know, because a camera guy, he's not fucking turning left and right. He's focused on what's happening. And the incidental shots, like the lady that was at the bottom of the stairs, like all of those shots were really fucking good. And when he puts the camera down...
That's actually what I was going to say,
Yeah.
One of the things that I enjoyed was that referenced image of the dead fireman at the bottom of the staircase, the one that fell earlier in the film. And so then they ran up the staircase for another purpose later in the film, and they re-referenced that person just laying there still. And I thought that was kind of cool because it happened very like nonchalantly. It just kind of reminds you of the point from where they fell. It was like a little reference point of like, you could tell that they had fallen a great distance, but I thought it was really cool that they just kind of like revisited that moment.
There were very little, like, I think the only like edit marks, at least that I noticed, so if I overlooked them, kudos to the editor.
Which is really difficult.
But yeah, so there are moments where the camera gets put down, like you were saying, Kane. And it just kind of happens to perfectly frame shit that's about to like come across the audience's field of view, while still looking like, oh shit, I just threw this camera down real quick.
Yep.
And assuming they just did all that in continuous takes, that's amazing.
I mean, there's obviously, like, when the fireman falls, that's obviously, there was a cut there.
Right.
Sure.
You know, they did it seamlessly, and it looked beautiful. But there's no way that they continuously shot a guy falling from that distance.
Right.
So it was obviously a dummy of some sorts.
I love that there was an appropriate amount of blood, a nice pool of blood under that fireman from falling from that height. Because often in horror films, someone falls and it's just like it's dry. That would not be dry.
Sure.
You would be gushing blood.
Well, and his face had been gnawed off too.
That helped.
Yeah.
So there was some extra reason to dump extra blood.
Quite possibly moments where like the camera's kind of going wild and flying all over the place. Those could also be places where edits were put in.
Yep.
The camera work in this movie was amazing. And it elevated this above most found footage type movies. I think because they made a cinematographer the person in the film that was the cameraman.
Yep.
Sure.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right. Well, then I guess I should talk about the actors, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Please do.
All right. Again, Spanish-speaking friends, I apologize. I'm not doing this on purpose. So first we have Manuela Valesco, but is she dead? Obviously not, because there's sequels that she's in. She played Angela Vidal, newscaster, media personality. And Manuela was born in Vigo, Spain on October 23rd, 1975. She's known for her role in the Rec movies more than anything else. She starred in Rec 2 and Rec 4 Apocalypse. That's her horror stuff, and I don't care about the other stuff.
Nice. Well, she was excellent.
She was. She did a phenomenal job. Next, we have Pablo Rosso, cameraman in charge, but like actually. And he played Pablo, and I don't have to go over him because Joe already did it.
I did.
I will say that he's acted in other horror movies. He acted in Eye for an Eye, Veronica, obviously the Rec movies, Sleep Tight. I'm starting to understand why Joe chose this movie. And he fucked up because we always do actors after cinematographers. But funny thing about his role in this movie is you never hear his voice. His voice was actually Javier Coromina. I found 0 on him, and he's best known for Wreck, but like not known because everyone thinks the camera guy's voice is the camera guy's. But it wasn't.
I wonder why they...
Probably, my guess, my very uneducated stab in the dark guess, is that he was focused so much on making sure the shots were done well.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
But even then, I wonder why he didn't just overdub his own voice. Like, why did they bring in a second actor to do that?
I don't know.
It is because his voice actually sounds like Master Yoda's.
Or maybe he talks like this, and it didn't really suit the tone of the movie.
He's like, guys, that fireman just fell, and I think it's spinal.
I think it's spinal. Yeah, so next we've got Faron Terrazza, who was quite possibly the unluckiest of firemen. And he played Manu. He was born on planet Earth, I'm assuming.
Presumably somewhere in Spain.
Yeah, his horror credits include the rest of the Wreck movies as voices and archive footage. And that's it. That's all I got on him.
I know he had a mean punch.
He did. Yeah. And a great hammer throw.
Yeah.
Next, we have David Devert. That's the aforementioned firefighter that takes quite the tumble. He played Alex. We actually get to see an interview where he and Angela are having this awkward interaction in front of the camera, which was really well done. I have no idea where or when he was born. And he is known for Wreck and Wreck 2, and that's all I saw about him. All right, so next we've got Jorge Yaman Serrano. God, I apologize again. He was definitely a cop. He played a very good cop. And that was Sergio. Again, he has 0 existence on the internet. His only movie credits are Wreck and Wreck 2 that I saw.
I think he has a MySpace profile still, though.
All right, next we've got Carlos Vincente. That was the guy that was giving everybody first aid before the hazmat suit guy came in. There was nothing about this dude. I couldn't find him anywhere.
Why are you wasting our goddamn time, Kane?
What do you mean?
Hey, this person, I don't know. They existed. Here's a name. Get fucked.
Look, you could put a name to the first aid giver. I mean, what was this fucking name in the...
That's fair.
Oh, Giram.
Yeah.
We're
his name was
acknowledging.
Giram. He had a name.
Yeah.
His name was Giram.
It's a good acknowledgement.
He was in the movie Wreck and Sanguine Craving. That's what he's got going on.
All right. Sanguine Craving sounds cool.
It does. Next, we got Claudia Silva, who did amazing infected acting as a little kid. She played Jennifer. There's nothing about her, and that's fine.
Are you telling me she didn't have tonsillitis?
No, that was definitely not tonsillitis.
I think it was tonsillitis, Kane. Her mother was very insistent.
She was insistent.
Yeah, mothers know those things.
And also that she wanted to speak to the manager.
She definitely wanted to talk to the manager.
She was putting out some strong Karen vibes.
But her horror credits include Wreck and Wreck 2 and Mujeres Asesinas.
Did she play the same character in Wreck 2?
A lot of it's archive footage.
Okay, that's fair. We'll have to watch Wreck 2 at some point.
Mujeres Asesinas is a horror anthology series that is about women that kill, apparently.
Sounds pretty cool.
Now you're putting out season 3 of the Butcher Block vibes.
Then we've got Maria Lenau, queen of misdiagnosis. She played Jennifer's mom, Mari. I couldn't find much about her either.
Yeah.
She starred in Wreck and a movie called Sexy Killer, which is apparently a horror comedy.
Okay.
Nice.
This one's a weird one. So next we've got Ben Temple. All right. And he was definitely like a shady G-Man style doctor. And his name in the credits is Doctor. Like, it's just Doctor.
Yeah, I think most of, there are maybe 3-4 named characters in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then just man.
And grandparents and shit like that. But yeah, so he was born in New York, 1969. He's an actor, director, and a producer. And his horror credits for acting are Wreck, Inside, which is familiar because one of the directors was involved in that. Cold Skin, Fragile, Galaxy of Horrors. This one sounds awesome. Romasanta, The Werewolf Hunt, and Anomalous. So that's kind of all of the cast that I felt were important. I do think it's important to note that all of the firemen, aside from the 2 named actors that I mentioned, were actually firemen. Those dudes were not acting during those scenes. Like, they were uncomfortable being on camera. The dad joke that the chief of the firehouse tells at one point, like, that's legit. None of that's written.
Legit bad humor.
Fun. And Manuela was actually a TV personality doing what she was doing in the movie before this movie.
That's cool.
Like, she did that kind of shit.
Awesome.
I think that's fun. I think that it created an organic experience where, while watching this film, because I think I watched this movie in like early 2009, and this movie felt real. Like, it felt like I was watching shit that actually happened. And most found footage movies don't do that.
Right.
Like, even Blair Witch. I enjoyed the original Blair Witch movie.
But it didn't feel authentic.
This felt authentic, and I really enjoyed that.
We're going to get some shade thrown at us for hating on the Blair Witch. I know that already.
I like the Blair Witch. I'm just saying this movie knocked the Blair Witch down, kicked the Blair Witch Project, and then urinated on the Blair Witch Project.
And followed it up with a poop.
The found footage format definitely, in a way that, like you were saying, most found footage movies don't succeed at doing, immerses you in the world of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project, while it was fun, and I did feel like it was scary, like I was definitely afraid when I watched that in theaters. Ultimately, like, the way they did the filming and everything, at one point I was getting pulled out of that world.
Right.
This movie kept me in it the whole time.
Yeah.
That's an impressive feat. But most of the other actors, like, this is the only movie they've ever done, or they were just extras. Like, nobody did a shit ton of acting. They didn't get named characters. Like, even their dialogue was like limited at best. And that made the movie better as well. Because they felt real. They felt authentic. Like, old policeman, he was just fucking old policeman. Old lady was just old lady. They weren't named anything. And that's all I have to say about the actors in this movie.
Cool.
Well done.
I'll go ahead and talk about the score now.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
Yeah. You're going to struggle.
There was some shitty pseudo punk at the end of the film.
God, that song was... I didn't enjoy it.
Didn't bother even investigating it. I was just like, fuck you, buddies.
Yeah,
We're not talking about you on our podcast.
A hot turd.
Since there's no score to talk about, should we take this opportunity to just talk about the sound design of the movie?
Nah, that's fine. No, yes, let's do that.
You're such a shit piece. Because I'm the slightly more pretentious film nerd than ideas like diegesis, things that exist inside of the movie versus outside of the movie for the audience are very interesting. And the fact that the entire we have the microphone attached to the camera, and for a minute we have the handheld microphone. And those are the only things that are perceiving sound that the audience is hearing, which is genius and amazing.
And I like how at a certain point in the film, as you mentioned during the watch party, there appeared to be a velociraptor somewhere in the building that those microphones were picking up. And that, I'm assuming was just the howling of the infected. Yep. Low rumbling of eerie sounds made by humans, just wailing and moaning, and then footsteps and just frantic ruffling.
Right.
And all of that was anxiety building.
It was, absolutely was.
There are things like when sound was too loud for the microphone, it would distort and blow out.
Yep.
And it made everything that much scarier.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was just because of the limitations of that equipment. And I think that's really cool.
Well, I mean, overall, sound-wise, it created almost like a claustrophobic feeling.
It did.
Because all you had was what the camera was picking up. Because, I mean, when she was doing the interviews, she had the mic again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like when she was running around through the rest of the movie, she was running around with that mic.
Mm-hmm.
It was all the camera mic from that point on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they did a lot. I mean, I'm sure if we were to dig into it, we would find that they had...
Oh, yeah. There had to have been
mics. Yeah.
Yeah. Or sounds that were recorded and then just edited into the movie.
Exactly.
Sure. Sure.
But it felt like it was just the camera mic when things started really popping off.
Which was amazing.
It was really good.
All right. Well, unless you've got more about noises that you want to talk about, Joe.
And hopefully I didn't steamroll.
No, you didn't steamroll anything, buddy. JD, why don't you tell us about the special effects?
Gladly. I have to just go ahead and say that I really enjoyed the special effects in this film. Everything was very appropriate, for the conditions that we were observing. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't underdone. I felt like it was just right. Those special effects were created by Enric Massip, and he was born somewhere at some time. He was involved with a good number of horror films, and that's what we care about, so that's what I'll address. He did the special mechanical effects for one of my top 5, maybe top 10 favorite horror films of all time, and you referenced it earlier, Dagon, in 2001. That was a H.P. Lovecraft story directed by the wizard Stuart Gordon. One of the screenwriters for that was good old Dennis Paoli.
Oh, Dennis Paoli.
Massip was involved with the film Rottweiler in 2004, which was a horror film about robot dogs.
All right.
Is that like Man's Best Friend?
Almost. Yeah, I don't know.
Which was also a horror movie about a robotic dog.
Oh, interesting. Massip also worked on the atmospheric and mechanical special effects on The Nun from 2005. He worked on The Orphanage from 2007,
which is amazing.
Yeah, that was another cool one. Wreck in 2007, and then a horror thriller titled Shiver in 2008. Then he rocked the special effects for Wreck 3 in 2012.
Did he rock the Casbah?
He may have. He actually may have. Then he did special effects on The Evil That Men Do in 2015.
The evil that men do lives on and on.
Well, thank you for that. He also did special effects on Marrowbone in 2017, and he had 39 special effects credits total.
So what you're saying is that we need to make a list of the movies that this dude's done special effects on, and we just need to go through and watch them.
Just the horror.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But yeah, he was really involved with some excellent stuff, and I appreciated very much the nature of the special effects. The bites looked excellent.
Mm.
They did. Those face bites, man, with the close-ups were gross. I loved them.
Definitely, yeah. There was a few moments, too, of almost like a stringiness as the teeth sort of ripped the tissue away from the bone, and it just sort of followed. Pretty gross stuff. Some of the best bite effects I think I've seen in film.
Speaking of that, so I kind of did this on accident, but I'm kind of glad, since we're talking about special effects, it seems like this is more appropriate. Javier Botet was the demon zombie Tristana Medeiros.
Mm-hmm.
That was the tall zombie in the granny panties.
Yep. Born in Ciudad Real in Spain on July 30th, 1977. He was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome. And essentially what that means is that he's got long, creepy fingers and he's super tall and skinny. So he's 6'7" and weighs 120 pounds. And he is my favorite movie monster actor. He's in so many movies, and his body proportions are so unique and so interesting that they just add some makeup, a little bit of prosthetics, and then they send him out, and he horrifies people. And it's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he really was incredible in Wreck. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, I love this guy so much. Anytime I see that he's in a movie, I just watch it. Because even if the dialogue's shitty or anything like that, I know he's going to be terrifying.
Sure.
You just fast forward to the monster killing someone?
No, I mean, I'll watch the whole thing, but he's the reason I'm watching it. His credits for movies, I don't even think I'm going to cover all of them. I'm just going to cover a bunch of them.
Cover your favorites.
Beneath Still Waters, Mama, Crimson Peak, The Conjuring
Mama was
2,
good.
The Mummy,
Oh, yeah.
It, Insidious, The Last Key, which the monster he plays in that is fucking horrifying.
Awesome.
Slender Man, Mara, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, It 2, His House, and Vasis. Definitely my favorite monster actor, even above Doug Jones, who is an amazing monster actor in his own right. Javier Botet is absolutely the pinnacle of horror movie monster actors.
Nice.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, there was a visual effects artist that I'll name quickly along with the special effects artist. Alex Villagrassa was known mostly for the visual effects on the films Rec 1 through 4, but also worked on Marrowbone, a film called Buried in 2010, a film called Mirage in 2018, and then Down a Dark Hall in 2018.
Interesting.
Yeah. I do appreciate that you put that artist in there, though, because that, big part of the end of the film.
Yeah, he's got, 2 minutes of screen time in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably the most horrific 2 minutes in the entire film.
Especially since they put the night vision on him.
Oh.
That was so creepy.
Yeah, that was a really cool camera effect.
All right, well, I guess, and unless you've got more special effects stuff, we can just talk about our personal experience with the movie.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Joe, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, I watched this movie, I don't know, probably just on a whim, because it's on a lot of lists of good horror movies that people haven't heard of. And so I watched it and it was great. And, I've gushed and gushed and gushed about it. And that's really all I have to say is that it's amazing. And I feel like it's very underappreciated because, again, they use the found footage format to immerse the audience in the film in a way that even, really good horror movies kind of fail to do, erasing that boundary between the audience and the movie. Rec was really, really smooth in that way, and I loved it. And I guess if anything, if I want to start some dialogue in the comment section, and maybe this is explained in the sequels, I don't know, I haven't seen them. So if you've seen the sequels, Kane, and you can add to this, please do. They kind of half tug of war between, was it science or was it magic that caused the zombie plague? And based purely on Rec 1, what's kind of your feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the sequels.
I'm kind of surprised. You've seen every horror movie.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily always watch sequels.
There's
times where I felt like Rec answered the questions that needed to be answered and left me with questions that I needed to answer myself.
Right.
And so I didn't necessarily feel that I needed to go through and watch the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I probably will at this point.
I'll watch them with you.
Just because Javier Botet was in the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I definitely want to see if they give him more screen time.
Sure.
As the demon zombie. Maybe they dive into what was going on with that priest. That could possibly interest. I mean, I like, to come up with my own answers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I kind of avoided watching the sequels. But yeah, so is there anything else, or was that just it?
Just that.
Okay, nice. JD, why don't you tell us about your personal experience with the movie?
So, well, first I have a question. Was that living space that Pablo and Angela were exploring, was that a priest's living space?
Yeah, we can kind of assume that. What the text of the movie told us was that was the penthouse. A man from Madrid lives there, or he pays for the property, but he doesn't usually show up.
Gotcha. Because, yeah, it felt like that's who brought that, whether it was a virus or some form of evil, a demonic entity. It seemed like that person brought that in through that living space. There was some type of, whatever. But anyway, yeah, this was my first time watching this film. So yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I appreciated just, how candid everything was. And, I suppose that is the point of, found footage film. But I agree that this film did it really well. And, I enjoyed the special effects, just to reiterate that. Great bites, good amount of blood. It was gory without being over the top. And yeah, that's really, I mean, there's not a whole lot for me to get into. It was just so, it was realistic. Sometimes horror films to me, it's like a caricature of reality. And this just really left me with oh, wow, what if that actually, something like that happened? I felt like them barricading the building, locking everyone inside, is how you would almost have to address a situation like that. So there were layers of realism to it that, sort of work on your subconscious as you're watching, and it's part of what produces the anxiety as a good horror film will. Yeah, and that's really my impression. I'm curious now about the sequels. Normally, I am not curious about sequels. I have similar feelings to Kane in that respect where, it's like, okay, I got what I needed from the first film in the series. But in this case, I feel like I still have a few questions, and I may need to refer to the sequels to have those answered for me. So,
and horror sequels have a tendency to get incrementally worse and worse and worse.
That is very true.
As the series progress, so.
Except for Evil Dead.
And Basket Case. Basket Case actually gets pretty awesome.
I didn't even know they made sequels to Basket Case.
Yeah, there's Basket Case 2 and 3 that I'm aware of. And Basket Case 2 is pretty sweet.
I will have to check that out.
Yeah, it has almost like, imagine, Todd Browning's Freaks.
Mm-hmm.
It has like that kind of vibe to it, but it's more, grotesque 80s horror.
Huh.
Body horror, too.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's obviously body horror because it's fucking Basket Case.
Well, for any of our listeners that, I'm sure anyone that's listening to us is familiar with Basket Case, but on the outside shot that they are not, Basket Case, strong body horror film.
We should do Basket Case at some point.
It's going to be on my list. I don't know how that escaped season 1, to be honest with you, because normally I'm jumping up and down and waving my Basket Case flag around.
It's probably better.
Yeah.
Because we've become better podcasters over the last season. So
maybe. This episode's weird.
Yeah.
So Kane, give us your impression of the film.
So I watched this movie offhandedly. This was like it's a found footage zombie movie. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be dumb, whatever. So I just put it in and then basically didn't move and just watched this movie feeling something I normally don't feel, which was
joy,
scared. I was actually kind of scared at different
points. I thought you were going
to
say arousal.
No.
Wasn't a sexy movie.
The jump scares in this movie were organic and authentic and very effective. I had the misfortune of watching the Shall Not Be Named Again remake, the U.S. remake.
Oh, you mean Quarantine?
Fuck you, Joe. And it just erases all of the beautiful things about this movie.
Yeah.
As far as like questions, I've got questions, but I'm torn about whether or not I want to get the answers to those questions.
Sure.
You know what
I
mean?
get that.
Like, part of the mystique of this movie is the fact that you don't know. I love the fact that when the movie starts, the cops are immediately there and you don't really know how they found out or anything like that. And then that gets answered during the movie. And that's amazing. The fact that it's not a plot hole, it's not like a weird device. This is why the cops knew to come there.
Right.
This is why this is happening.
Sure.
And then just the simple fact that all of it felt so real that I just love this movie. I think it's a really well done horror movie. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. Watch Rec, unless you're sensitive to motion sickness, in which case don't watch Rec because you will become ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if you watch Rec, let us know what you think.
Please do.
Definitely.
You can find us at wegiveyoubrainworms.com, as well as most places podcasts live. Send us a message or comment. Tell people about us. Sing songs about... No, don't sing songs about us.
If you want to, write odes to our wonder, please.
That would make me feel like an armored knight.
Also, we warn you against forgetting to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube.
And click the bell.
And ding the dong dong.
Bling! My ding ding dong.
The ding ding dong.
Yeah, ring our ding a ding dong. That fireman just fell and I think it's spinal.